Hello and welcome to Jamie Riddler Studios. I am Jamie and I am here today with the Journal Showdown. And that's only about half. Welcome to the first ever Journaling Showdown. This event sprung out of a conversation between the journaling sage Akio Kano, my sister Shannon Riddler, and me about the journals that we're actually using, what journals we use, and why and how. And it just seemed like such a fascinating thing. We're like, I want to see yours. And we want to see yours too. So I hope you'll participate in the Journaling Showdown and share with us your live journals. And by that we mean the ones you're actually using and how you use them. So here, let's make a start. I've got more than a few and I didn't count them, so maybe we can count them together because I didn't want it to make me edit. So let me start with sharing with you the notebooks I use at the beginning of the day. Here's what I use for my morning pages, and I have been using these for years. I know my sister Shannon uses them too. These just little Canadian notebooks. I found it very important to make morning pages in a really non-precious journal. I kind of write in them and toss them away. Well, recycle. The next essential in my journal collection is, right now I'm using this for it. What I've been doing is using a composition book, and this is for my weekly planning. And I have recently come up with this system that I am loving so much, where I divide the pages into topic areas, and then I write my to-dos underneath them. So I have my weeklies here, so that's something I have to do every week, and then I put the date up here in the corner. And then there's some things I always have. I have my newsletter, I have loved and loved ones, art, home, self, things to keep track of for next week, people I need to connect with, things I want to get in the mail, things for the blog, for the podcast, for my business, for the BTS, the behind the scenes at the studio. And then I also have things for current projects. Like I am launching Give a Girl a Journal, the first ever Do Good initiative at Jamie Riddler Studios. I have some things to do in the academy, the classes I offer at the studio. I still have to do some things as the executor of my mom's estate. And so I love this because it's colorful, and I color it in with the color of the week when it's done, and it gives me a quick visual record of how much I was able to accomplish. And by keeping it by subject matter, it also really allows me to make sure I'm getting done the things that are in my priority areas. And using a composition book, again, that I just pick up at the dollar store, is the perfect way to keep this a working document, a non-precious journal, something that is meant to be useful more than beautiful, though, I like to work in that bit of color and shape. The next really crucial journal in my journal ensemble is my end of day journal, the journal in which I gather my thoughts and I gather my day. This is a Moleskine, a large Moleskine. I love white. And one of the things I love about Moleskine is I have pretty small handwriting, and I really like a journal that has pretty small lines so that I can get a lot in it. And a while back, I started also dividing my journal into different sections as I wrote about different parts of the day, and also trying to incorporate just a little bit of drawing. For a while, I was doing a drawing of me every day. Didn't look like me most of the time, but it was a way of starting to get a picture of how I thought of myself in that moment. What was I wearing today? What was my mood that day? And it was a lot of fun. And hey, a journal is just for me. So who cares how good the drawing was? The other thing that I now do is I have another journal. This is another kind of Moleskine. I believe this is, no, I don't know. It's not a volant, a cahier. I think it's a cahier journal. It is also lined. It didn't come with this. I made that and added it to the front. And in this, sometimes when I'm out and about, I just feel like I need to gather ideas, or I'm working things out for my business. I wanted to have one central place where I could keep the things that I'm not so much my thoughts about my day and my life, but like things I'm working out and thinking about. And what I love doing, this is very light and pretty small, and this comes with an elastic, and I love carrying these two around with me like this. Recently, I added another, I think they're cahiers, into my collection. Have we been counting these? And to gather, just simply gather ideas. So anything that inspires me, any quotes that send me thinking, anything where I'm like, that'd be a good blog post, that'd be an interesting idea for a show. What about a product like that? What about an art piece? What would I like to do? What about a new journal? What might it be? I have one place now where I gather my ideas. And that's pretty much my journals that I actually write in. And I'll tell you, I need to have one of these on me at all times. I will go crazy if I am out there in the world without something to write with and something to write on. Is that you too? In the past year, I also started using these. Now this is a Moleskine Volant, and they come in a wonderful range of colors, always in a pack of 2. And they're plain, and I started using them kind of like drawing sketchbooks. And I am, well, I won't say that I'm not a drawer, but I wasn't. And so I started, just while I was watching a movie, I started working on text, sort of gathering words I heard that I loved, sayings I loved, and then maybe shapes that I saw that interest me. And then I would color them in. And this has ended up being a very crucial, meditative, fun, relaxed way for me to engage with my creative self and with the things that inspire me, and try out different color stories, try out different kinds of lettering. It's a kind of non-precious sketchbook for me to use. I also, a while back, when I started taking more art classes and I tried to start exploring painting, I started keeping an art journal. Let me show you one that I haven't started using yet so you can see what it is. I love this journal, the Strathmore Mixed Media Journal. And I have to tell you, there was a little resistant because it costs more money to buy something like this. And I was a little like, oh, I don't know. But now that I've had one, I think I will always have one. And since I've had it for over a year and I'm still not finished with it, I definitely will not feel so bad about investing in it. Whereas this one, I use for drawing and things I want to do with dry medium. So markers, pens, and pencils. Markers do bleed through on this, some markers. This I use for classes, explorations that use wet mediums. And I have been having the most fun with it. It's been really great to just have another place to play. So I really love that. And then I thought I don't want to get stuck with one kind of size. So I bought, I think this is also a Strathmore watercolor. This is a watercolor journal. And I wanted to just start playing with different sizes. And that was really useful to, again, not get stuck in sort of one way of thinking, but instead to open myself up to, maybe the mushroom should go up. And so working in a different size has also, and this one's this way. Working in a different size has also been wonderful. And then recently I bought, again, I think I'm a Strathmore and Moleskine fan, a Strathmore journal. It's a soft cover, and this is watercolor paper. And I'm trying for the first time to bring together, like do more of an art journal. See the kittens? Those are my 3 rescued kittens. Bring together the part of me that's gathering my life and gathering my day, and the part of me that is starting to create things visually. And so I'm experimenting with that. It's new for me, but I'm finding I absolutely love this journal. There, I did one of my cat Escher. So that's new, and I'm trying to find my way with that. When I watched Akio's Showdown video, I was really inspired by her quilting journal. And for a long time, I felt like I wanted to gather my thoughts around my art practice and gather the exercises and have a place to put the colors and just a reference guide for art exercises I might want to do again and again, but also how I felt about it, what I learned from it. And I wanted that in one place. And I've had a really hard time figuring out what kind of book I want to keep that in. And what I went with, surprise, surprise, is a Strathmore sketch journal. And I'm kind of cheating showing you this because it's actually not live yet. This is my way of saying it's coming live. And it's a lighter paper. It's really just meant for dry mediums. Which is fine because I'm just going to be taking notes and drawing lines, and maybe I'll put some color on it, but I can always glue 2 pages together if I'm worried about bleed through. So this is what I'm going to experiment with. And I'm going to cheat again because this is just coming live. I bought this Fabriano journal to focus specifically on collage. I love the size of it, and I love the idea of doing collage figures because I like figures, creatures, people, and I felt like this kind of portrait view would be really interesting to do. I also have a few journals that are really focused on collage. One is I have my 365 collage a day journal, and I have a video about this and about how I keep it and why I keep it, and I hope you'll check it out. So I've been keeping this journal pretty much every day all year, trying to create a collage every day, sometimes just of things that I love, but really what I want from it is to capture the tone and the time of this year, to remind me of the things that I was doing, the places that I went. So I glue in movie tickets, I glue in the lyrics from choir, I glue in all sorts of stuff. And at the end of the year, things from classes, I will do a flip through video of this. But because I want to share so much or keep so much, gather so much more than one collage a day, I started creating this thing called an everything journal. And it was a bit of an experiment. I didn't know if it was going to work for me. So I grabbed my husband's old Guild Wars 2 book that he was just going to donate. And I started gluing into it anything. Anything I loved, anything I did, anything I wanted to remember. Just anything. That's why I called it the Anything Journal. And I think, having spent some time doing this, I think what I'm going to do next year is combine the two. I am going to allow myself to collage every day, but I'm not going to limit myself to one page. I love the idea of no limits. We'll see what happens. We'll see how many journals I end up with then. And then very recently, I started one last journal. Create a dream board under the full moon every single month. And I decided I wanted to capture that energy during the in-between time too. And so this is again a bit of experiment. I decided to create a book that's my dream book. And I took a book off my shelf. I didn't go out and buy another journal. I took a book off my shelf that I liked and that I had read and that I had gotten a lot out of, and that was kind of pretty and that had kind of a good structure to it, like that I felt it could open flat because that's important to me, and that it was strong and that it would be able to hold my dreams safely and soundly. And then same thing, I just started gluing in it. Very haphazard, very random. I have really noticed if I start going, okay, well, this page is going to be about this and this page is going to be about that, and I start to compartmentalize too much, then it just shuts me down and ends up not working. But as I'm saying that, I'm quite aware, as I'm sure you are, of how many journals I have that represent their own kind of practice. I guess what I notice about that is that I often have different journals that are appropriate for the way I'm going to express myself, the medium I'm going to use. Is it collage? Is it words? Is it wet mediums? Is it dry mediums? But then from there, I just want to go. One of the reasons I journal is so that all this busy creative brain of mine can find expression and find its way. And so I don't want to edit before it gets on the page. I want it to flow freely out of me so that I can see it and decide what I'm going to do next. These are sincerely journals I am actively engaged in this moment. Probably every one of these journals is going to get touched and used this week. So that is my contribution to the Journal Showdown. Thanks so much for coming and visiting. And we really want to see your journals too. So come on over to Jamie Riddler Studios at openthedoor.ca and we'll have a spot for you to add your link so we can come and visit you.